You know what's coming next? It's TV funny man Dara O'Brien talking about something that annoys him when he plays games.
Games will deny you content if you're not good enough. If you haven't earned it, you don't get to see the latter part of the game. And that doesn't happen in any other medium. Rarely will a book stop you and go, are you understanding the book? Talk to me about the character's development in the initial 3 chapters. What themes have emerged? And if you incorrectly answer, it'll go, read the chapters again. That doesn't happen in other media. If you buy a Claxons album, it doesn't go, your dancing isn't good enough. Dance again. Only then can you hear the rest of the album. If you're playing, say, Gears of War, right, this has been one of my favourite boss levels. The end of the 2nd chapter of it, there's a character called the Berserker, which is this monster who comes out, literally bursts out of a door going, and you have to lure the Berserker to smash through a door. So you stand there and the Berserker sees you, and then he runs at you, and that gives you time to step away, and the Berserker runs and smashes the door, and then you run behind a pillar, and the Berserker gets confused and runs off, and then you run to the next bit. But the next bit's another door. And you have to do it again, but the door is narrower this time. And then you get to door number 2, and you think, great, I've got through it. Do you know what's behind door number 2? There's another fucking door. There is no need for there to be a 3rd door. It makes no sense that this building would have 3 hallways. And so you go in and you smash the 3rd. Apparently you've got to shoot them there. I have no idea, I've never got to that, because I'm so freaked out by having gone through the first 2 doors that I have no idea what my fingers are doing. I'm offering him food. That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm pressing the wrong button and I'm toggling through my inventory menu while this guy is running towards me. I'm picking different weapons. I'm supposed to be ducking and rolling away from him, and the Berserker just races straight through me and kills me. I've never finished it. That's 11% of the way through the game, which means, you know, there's 89% of Gears of War I never saw because of that fucker and the door. And that is just a story of my gaming life. GTA 4. I will admit this publicly, I have never seen Manhattan. You have to get the initial island, and there's various tasks, one of which was to assassinate a guy in a train station. But to get there, you have to go out of a Russian nightclub, and steal a car and then drive across the city. And you're sitting in your own home going, I've got a day off work and I'm in a commute. I cannot believe that I've taken the time of my own to sit in fake traffic when I could be out in London driving somewhere nice in actual traffic. And there's a toll bridge when you get across the bridge. And if you drive straight through the toll bridge, the police will start chasing you, and so your game it's always a hassle. So you've got to pause at the toll bridge, you throw money in, and then you drive slowly in traffic to get to it. And if you don't kill the guy, you go all the way back to the Russian nightclub. There's no save point in the middle of it. I've never seen Manhattan, right? I'm sure Manhattan is a dream. I'm sure Manhattan in GTA 4 is a Manhattan of the 1920s, where it's all dun, 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 and that's where Nico Bellic's dreams will all come true, and you'll get a nice job in an office. I'm sure that's what happens. Anything can happen. You can meet a nice girl and settle down, just as long as you can just get to Manhattan. And I've never got him there. But sometimes it genuinely is illogical, right? I mean, Rock Band, for example. Rock Band, where you will, is the whole point of Rock Band is you get to pretend to be your favourite band, right? And you get to, it's all wielding an axe and madness, right? But to get to the ones they promise on the back of the pack, which is like Sabotage by the Beastie Boys or stuff by The Who, right? You have to unlock them as it goes along. So every time you play one, admittedly you have to play it at an easy level, but you still have to play it. Like, you still have to play Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, or a song made famous by Mountain, and the Mississippi Walk. That wasn't made famous. No one's ever heard of Mountain. It never made them famous or the song famous. But you still got to play red, red, green, green, red, red, red. I'm not sure, maybe that's the musician's life. Maybe that correctly mirrors that a musician has to do a lot of things before he can play the songs he wants to play. But in which case, just put in a mode where you have to suck a promoter's cock in order to unlock the later levels. You could use the guitar and you could go, and they'd be clicking on working the shaft. And then you could just earn the rock, well done, you have got the promoter off. You may now play the songs you want to play. And that's fine, funny, ha ha ha, right? But the point remains, I bought that content. I bought that game because I wanted to play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, and you, the game designer, are making me play songs I've never heard of, that I've no interest in playing, and you're buying 3 minutes of my life that I didn't want to spend with Weezer. I wanted to spend it pretending to be The Who, right? That's my content, I want it.
Simulation, computerised recreation of a real-world activity.
One of the very first Sims was Atari's eerie impersonal Battlezone, a tank simulator in which you hovered through a wireframe environment murdering blameless tanks. Flight sims have always been popular, albeit bewilderingly complex, and they're another good example of how graphics have evolved. The term simulation or sim covers everything from obvious applications like a flight sim or a racing game to more esoteric examples, like the grisly surgical slice-em-up trauma centre Second Opinion on the Wii. Other sims include the thrilling domestic drudgery of The Sims or the tranquil rural boredom of this farming simulator, which brings the excitement of being a f***ing Wurzel kicking and screaming into your computer.
Strategy, a game which tests the player's tactical decision-making skills.
Popular strategy games include cerebral titles like Civilization, in which you conquer the planet either militarily or culturally, and more action-oriented fare like the microscopic killing fields of Command & Conquer. Strategy games are brilliant if you love plans and planning. If you're basically a little armchair Hitler, I don't like them.
Puzzle game, a game involving a puzzle.
The inherently satisfying slot-em-up Tetris is the best-known puzzler, but there's also an intriguing new breed that experiments with other gaming forms to mind-expanding effect. Games like the challenging Portal, in which you have to play with physics and spatial awareness, or even platform puzzles courtesy of the insanely clever time-meddling indie game Braid.
RPG or role-playing game, an interactive narrative with the emphasis on exploration in which the player's character develops over the course of time.
Role-playing games like Final Fantasy are massive time sponges, basically, in which you spend hours building up characters and going on epic quests.
MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game, a virtual environment in which large numbers of players may interact with each other.
This is your World of Warcraft online fantasy world type thing, which soaks up hours of your time as you run around pretending you're an archmage or a bloody lion monster or some such shit. I've never really understood the appeal of these MMORPGs myself, but then I hate people enough in the real world, let alone bothering to enter a second made-up universe to learn to despise them all over again.
Adventure game, an interactive narrative in which the player assumes the role of the protagonist.
Early adventures may not have been much to look at, but they were incredibly entertaining. The Infocom Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, written by Douglas Adams, is still possibly the funniest game ever made, honestly. The point-and-click adventure, such as the excellent Monkey Island here, is another great lost gaming genre. Traditional computer adventure games, which are basically a series of puzzles linked by a plot, have fallen out of favour in recent years, which is a terrible pity if you ask me.